あれやんなきゃと思った時、ストレスはもう始まっている。それがやんなきゃストレス。そんな時はギャバ入れとく？
よし。やんなきゃストレスに。
Goodness, everybody, it's another exciting, overly enthusiastic beginning of the episode as I slowly lose energy for this discussion of the Discredited Gamers podcast. We temporarily had an individual that was gone for some time and has now disappeared.
Yet again.
Yet again.
You know, we should have a clip where the kaiju goes back into the ocean.
Just like I reversed the video of it just walking out. It pushes itself back in.
Yeah.
I mean, if I were better at editing, it would just be me bullying her at a pool, pushing her head underwater.
No.
Stay where you belong. It's so exciting to be here with all of you. Except we are here for episode 67, which I don't frequently recognize. We level up slowly, despite our experience being very low.
Slowly.
As we as we travel through the horrors of space in the podcast Winnebago that you were all trapped in with us as you come along on the ride.
I'm very scared of space.
Spacy. We have Jason, who's going to tell us about an anime that he didn't like. Jason?
Let's see. I didn't watch an anime this week.
No, of course he did.
No. Let's see. I gotta say, it's been stupid this week. I've done stuff, I just don't remember what it is. I was watching some really bad YouTube movies. It's not movie like YouTube videos. It's like old 80s movies that have been posted on YouTube. One was called something Space. I think it was like a mini series that they were hoping to create a TV show from, but it never went further than the mini series stage. Basically, life on Earth is crap. They get a whole bunch of young kids and they put them in a spaceship with one adult who's the captain of the ship, and they're flying them out to this planet. And so the reason they chose them young is because by the time they get to the planet to check it out, they'll all be adults. So they send them off into space, and then the captain gets sucked out of an airlock, and they promote one kid to be the captain because he was the one that was going to be the captain anyway. They're like, by the time we get there, the old captain will have died, and so you're his protege, so you'll be the captain. Yeah, it was pretty rough as far as that goes.
Hard to believe they didn't pick it up.
Yeah. Other than that, just trying to survive, really. I got
the horrors of
leak in my
the American suburbs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, let's see. My air conditioner died we had a guy come and look at it, and he's like, "Well, we might be able to fix it for $500. We might. We have to see if this one fan that we have, basically the unit is so old. They're like, this fan might fit, but we don't actually have the right part. And while we're at it, your furnace is super old, so we should probably fix that too. And my water heater decides that every once in a while it's just not going to work. And so it'll be like a $10,000 project to get all three of them fixed.
Oh, good Lord.
And then the sprinkling system in my lawn sprung a huge leak. And so, yeah, I've got to dig up part of my lawn and replace the pipes in there.
Oh, did you have
yeah.
like the lawn blood blister with the water underneath?
No, it didn't go that far,
Oh.
actually. That would have been funnier.
The
Basically, I
satisfaction
was-
of popping it.
yeah. Basically, what happened was I turned on the sprinkling system and there was no water pressure. Like the water pressure wasn't strong enough to actually force the sprinklers up out of the ground. And so I was looking around, and there's the spot in the lawn that's where when you turn off the water, basically the water is supposed to drain from the system in that spot. All the water was basically coming out of that spot.
Mm.
But it was I guess that the stream was strong enough that it just blasted a hole through the grass rather than do the whole lawn blister thing, which would have been actually more fun.
A lot more fun. I loved those as a kid.
The house I'm moving to has irrigation, so the yard floods every so often.
Yeah, that's my great grandparents' house is like that. In fact, it has little rivets still from the irrigate, like when they irrigate it.
Apparently, it's supposed to sort of be shifted every now and then where the houses in the area share it. And sometimes one of the neighbors decide that they want more water, so they'll just block you during your turn. So you have to go check it to make sure somebody's not blocking it so that the water floods into their yard so they get the greener grass, I guess.
Oh my God,
If it's going to be that petty and there's going to be some douche down the street that's doing that, I'm going to be so belligerent about it. Because it's got to be me dealing with it, where I've got to go check that someone's blocking the water so that they can flood their yard. And I'm going to go be knocking on their door, cussing them out, hopefully with children present.
It's preferable. I want them scared, nervous.
I want them to think this guy's coming back for me.
And I am.
You know, shockingly, I did watch some anime. One was all right. The other one was meh. Does anyone care? I don't know.
Yeah. Which one was good?
I kind of like, it's still airing on Amazon, but it's From Old Country Bumpkin to Master Swordsman. It's apparently a pretty good manga.
I've heard of that one.
But it's currently
I've
airing
heard that's
on...
pretty good.
One thing I like, which is, I hate these tropes that exist in anime, which, let's be honest, it's the audience that they're catering to. But it gets really tired where every character is like a tween and the most powerful person in the galaxy. And I'm so sick of it. When most people do the most important things in their lives later than, the tweens. And I'm not even talking teenager. I'm talking tween. I'm talking 13, 12. And it's really stupid. Look, it's okay to write a character that's in their 20s. And one thing I quite enjoyed is this character is actually middle-aged. He's great.
Right.
And the weird element of the story, so the concept is he's actually one of the greatest swordsmen ever. And he's been training students for years. And all of his students go on to be some of the most amazing swordsmen ever. And they all know how awesome he is, but he's too humble to think that he's anything special. So it's like somebody contrives to sort of push him out the door and get him involved in greater things. And suddenly, like, this old swordsman, I mean, not old, middle-aged, but shows up into the world, and it's like, oh no, he's really dangerous. He's been training forever.
Dear God.
But it's interesting. A lot of it is reflection on, he keeps running into students who are like, I'm the greatest whatever in this, and it's like, oh, I remember you as a kid, and I used to, and all of them treat him like with just abject awe because he doesn't think he's very good, but they all know sort of what he's capable of. It's kind of a funny gimmick in that way, but I like that he's not just a tween. And it's like, oh, something interesting. It's not just a 12-year-old destroying adults with his mighty punches. The other one is the Demon Kings. I don't know. I gotta look this up. The Misfit of Demon King Academy on Hulu. It's meh.
She's here.
She's here.
That actually does remind me. I've been watching Babylon 5 on Amazon.
Yeah. I've never been willing to go down the Babylon 5 route, honestly.
Deep Space Nine forever. Get dunked on, nerds.
Yeah, well, the first season kind of blows, Ross. I'm just going to tell you.
And the rest of them are amazing. And is it any worse than the terrible first season of TNG? I think not.
Stupid Q stuff is funner than I'm talking to space gods in my mind.
That happens in TNG.
Yeah, well, I'd rather stupid Q stuff than the weird I'm having a hallucination.
There's Q stuff in DS9, not much, because the Cisco absolutely wrecks Q, and Q doesn't want to play.
Well, Q as a character is really stupid, but it only works because of the actor.
Oh, absolutely. Without John Delancey, that would be the most obnoxious. It would be like, was it Kazoo from the Flintstones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be that, but
just shows up and angers everybody.
Yeah, whereas John Delancey takes it to a much better realm.
I agree. Ross, how are things?
Delightful. I don't know if I mentioned it last time, but watched some old movies with my girlfriend, because apparently that's what we both like. I got her to watch Dirty Harry for the first time.
Oh, rock on. Basically,
fantastic. Everything
references this movie in popular culture.
Dude, literally, she was like, "Oh, that's where this is from." I'm like, "Uh-huh." Yeah. Like, the Angry Chief, the Make My Day, like all the, yep, everything. All of it.
I watched reaction video of that Ben Stiller Tropic Thunder.
Oh, uh-huh.
And they just watched it. And while they're watching it, they're like, oh, this is where all of these references come from. And it's like, yeah, way to avoid the iconic movie there, champ.
But we also watched Charade, which is a classic.
Yeah.
And we watched a movie called My Man Godfrey, which is from the 30s.
Yeah, that one's a good one.
It's it's delightful. Kids, if you want to watch a fun comedy, the 30s has lots of good ones. And good rom-coms, weirdly enough.
Yeah.
So, take delight in weird 30s humor.
You're still catching up on Masters of the Air?
Yeah, that's our Sunday show, so I got some tomorrow.
Sweet. Oh, look at Silver. Has Bangladesh taken all you own?
Yes, those jerks.
Do not redeem.
Do elaborate, Silver, because she's been having some exciting events today.
Oh, yeah. My basically alarm this morning was a notification of like, your two-step verification, like, approve a thing. I'm like, I haven't signed in. I've been asleep. Go to look, and it's like, some jerk from Bangladesh wants your stuff.
Oh, God.
I'm like, okay, so you got through my password. Thank goodness I have two-step verification. I'm gonna go in and change my password anyway.
Oh, by the way, just to give you crap, I was literally hanging out at Grandma's house, like 2 blocks from you, And I'm just like, hey, you want to hang out or whatever? And I get I've got to deal with this someone hacking my account. It's like, look, you don't have to come hang out. But I guarantee you that's not going to take you hours to fix Silver.
No, it
No,
wouldn't, but then I'm like, okay.
I've got to do a thing.
No, I tend to go overboard with those things and make sure, like, okay, that's secure. Okay, that and that. It happens like once a year, I swear.
No, just
Do go
convenient.
overboard with it because I'm like, please, no.
Convenient excuse to just say, just say you hate me.
Well, yes, but no, I did deal with that.
Silver, have you considered, instead of destroying Japan, going to Bangladesh to take care of this problem?
Oh, that's a good solution.
I am considering that.
Wreck
Do you just
your
not
revenge.
enjoy the warmer waters
stop,
of the Indian
I
Ocean?
think I
Or
have to head to Brazil as well. I get a lot of those from Brazil.
come to Brazil?
She's also a weeb, so that Japan is her mecca.
Is that where you Hodge? Is Tokyo?
The funny thing
Yes.
is she was a mega weeb and then she rejected it.
Yeah,
She's
totally.
too good for it now.
She's too good for it. I'm in the middle of a special move and I forced Ross to carry furniture down one of the worst staircases to move stuff through.
It's
In
so
human
narrow and
existence.
so
was
deep, like so
wondering.
tall. Oh my god!
It's a very deep and narrow staircase, and it's like, okay, now let's move large furniture down it.
One step at a time.
Use like a crane via the window or something.
Oh god!
It's like that
Well-
the mom in What's Eating Gilbert Grape, where they have to take the wall out to get her out of the building.
What's Leo's character name? Arnie.
Arnie, yeah,
Yeah.
Leo's good. now.
shining armor.
Oh, Gilbert Grape, you went on to rob people as a pirate, and then have your bed
scissor
poop
hands.
on.
Oh yes,
It's human poop. There was no way it was a dog.
and was a Native American that all the certain people of a certain political persuasion that analyze movies have to apologize for 1 billion times in their stupid podcasts. Anyway, I'm not annoyed by it or anything.
No, it's fine. But you did see the new the new den construction, and it looks pretty sweet for a guy that just is going to entertain himself forever.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. It's and the nice thing is the staircase down there is so much nicer to move furniture down because you can just slide it.
Yeah, that's essentially what we did. Is we just slid it the whole way down the stairs.
Oh yeah, that's how we got stuff basically upstairs when we were taking stuff out of that house.
Oh,
Just,
so
like,
you were the ones who robbed
slide
it.
even upward.
Yeah, she looted the house.
Oh.
Oh yeah, it's my bed now.
Well, I made your dad feel slightly bad. Like, I'm not blaming him, but I was like, it felt like people looted grandma's house, and he's like, well, I didn't have a lot of furniture, and pretty much all of my house is built up of my mom's furniture and my aunt's furniture. I was like, dude, I'm not blaming you. I'm just telling you what it felt like to go over there. It's like it used to be grandma's house, and now it's not grandma's house.
Yeah, but it's very true. We like look around the house now and go, that's grandma, 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 grandma. Even my own room, grandma, 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 grandma.
She holds a special place in our hearts
Yes.
And our bedrooms.
and our
And our living room.
Yep.
And the foyer.
I at least got the couches downstairs. And the only reason why those couches weren't removed is because no one wants to remove them because they're too big.
Oh yeah.
And it's thankfully because what was I going to do without giant couches down there? I mean, honestly.
Have to go to DI.
Just get some really crappy actual grandma couch that's with flowers on it and stuff.
And start fumigating.
Oh yeah, and it has like indentation of where one lady sat for 80 years.
Yeah. Hopefully passed in that spot.
Ooh,
Oh yeah, that thing's haunted.
Death couch.
Oh gosh.
Oh, it's haunted. It's a special...
It's like the chair from what was it? Not in City. One of the rings. The old man.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Ugh. It's a special podcast because Silver's returned from her voyage overseas.
Yep.
Man.
There was probably AC nearby.
Ah. No,
How was the trip?
Tennessee is landlocked.
That was the trip.
I don't know if that's true.
Silver.
It was.
Did you do anything?
A lot. Oh, okay, let me list the things we did. I'll do it on one hand. I was gone for a week, mind you.
Uh-huh.
3 antique stores, Mammoth Cave, and a graveyard. That's it.
Oh.
What? Did you travel for 5 days? What's happening?
Was it a road trip?
No, I was gone for a week.
Oh. But I mean, did you drive or fly? How'd you do so little in a week is what I'm asking.
We went over to see my uncle, my
Oh.
mom's brother, and they built stuff while I sat there and watched.
Yeah, literally, I texted her and I was like, what are you doing? And she's like, watching my uncle and my mom build stuff in the yard. And I was like, okay.
Exactly.
Excited.
Seriously, you're an adult. Ask him for a car.
I wish.
Go out and get robbed in Nashville. I mean, see the sights.
Exactly. We were like right outside Memphis. So heck yeah.
Oh, by the way, I'm ready to get disappointed. Did you read something?
Yeah, I was gonna bring it. Forgot it.
Oh, see, I knew it. I am disappointed in you, just like your parents.
Disappointed.
I had a whole plan and everything. Yet I brought my Switch. That was entertaining.
What
What,
did
you
you
couldn't play Switch with your cousin?
Yeah,
Good
you
Lord.
couldn't.
No, they have no children. It was just me. It was me
Man,
and
that
their cats.
sucks.
What did you play?
Well, they had cats.
A little bit of that Mario game. What is it called?
Deluxe or
One you
whatever.
gave me. Yeah.
It's a fun game. Takes you forever to even
And
play
that's for
it.
Phoenix, right? Because I suck.
Yeah, quite a bit. It is, however, we are avoiding the main topic. Not necessarily, but we are avoiding the main topic. Believe it or not, the internet is just all they're talking about is the Superman trailer. Really, to a lesser extent, Ironheart. But Superman trailer has released the full trailer, not the teaser, so we get more to see of this upcoming film. Now, most of you, I'm going to guarantee you 99.999% of you have not read a book called The Iliad.
The Iliad?
A lot of you have probably heard of it. Jason's going to claim he read it, but he didn't read it.
I've read parts of it, not the whole thing.
Yes, I've read it extensively because I had to for school. Ross probably read it.
Not the whole thing, no. I had to read excerpts, though.
Oh, well, I'm the only one that's fully read the Iliad.
You are.
The problem
Yeah,
is
don't
everybody.
even ask me.
The problem is everybody knows the story of the Iliad.
Yeah.
The Iliad, by the way, Silver, is the tale of Troy, where they kidnap the princess and then they attack the city of Troy and then they sneak in by using the Trojan horse. It's a classic tale. If I were to guess, and I don't know if Ross would concur with this, the story is probably 3,200 years old, more or less.
Yes.
Well, because we don't
Yes.
know where it came from, but I'm trying to estimate it at about 1200 BC, around the time of the Sea Peoples, which speculation is that the story came out of that time period.
A good time for everyone involved.
I just did a quick search, and it's saying around 2,800, but
Well,
obviously, you said
we
that
don't know when
there's
it was written.
conjecture, Yeah.
Right. I'm conjecturing the Sea People era because there is some conjecture that it was written about events during that time, or even just made up. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because we all know the story. And the reason why we all know the story is because this tale or this mythology has been passed down for thousands of years at this point. I mean, the Odyssey as well. And part of the reason why the Iliad and the Odyssey are such important tales is because not only are they epic stories, but they are extremely important to the identity of the Greek people. In the Iliad and the Odyssey, you see sort of how they view themselves, how they view their relationship with the gods, how they view their sort of how one should conduct yourself. There's a lot of information, believe it or not, that's more than just the tale. A lot of it's sort of a dictum of the culture of the people. And it was so important that it even carried on beyond their time. Superman, in its own way, in a modern era, plays a similar role. Yeah. Superman's a very old character in modern terms.
One of the very first superheroes.
Yes. It's been around since, I mean, if you want to place earlier superheroes, you have the Shadow and you have Doc Savage and you have some others. And Superman came out of sort of these pulp era into the era of comics that emerged. And Superman is probably the 30s. Sorry, I don't have a definitive number for when he showed up, Superman #1.
I'm looking it up. It's Action Comic #1, published in April 18th, 1938.
Yeah. And the reason why he's important is Superman in many ways for more specifically America, but, you know, Western culture and world culture in general, played an important role where his tales were in a way a mythology that the Greeks had, where it told you about sort of personal responsibility and your role in the world and doing good and how you should conduct yourself as a person. And these mythologies have an important impact on culture. And American culture has a lot of this when it comes to movies and stories and comic books and video games. It's like all of these have impacts on culture. Well,
if you will, Superman is kind of a mythology for the modern era.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. And the point I'm trying to make here is that the modern age has these characters that are not only products of their time, but actually sort of dictate the culture themselves. Little boys read the comics and then they reflect on these characters, like being good for good's sake, sort of thing. These, what I'm saying is these stories are really important. Anybody who says, well, Superman's coming out, whatever, I don't care. It has got a long running import to American culture that I don't think a lot of people realize. Like imagine reading any sort of character or story that you care about today, and I guarantee you was influenced by some of the early comics and tales that existed in this country. I mean, you don't get Dragon Ball without Superman.
Right.
If not directly, but indirectly, it's influenced a lot of things. You don't get manga without the beginning of the comic era. And I'm not just talking the beginning of the comic era, because comics began as sort of the funnies in the newspapers. I'm talking comics as ways to tell stories, as cheap throwaways for young kids to read. And those cheap throwaways evolved into what we see later in manga and anime coming out of Japan. Like Superman plays an important role in everything, if I haven't oversold this, Ross. And that's why people care about this character and care deeply about this character and care whether or not the movie is successful. I would like a good Superman movie. I mean, the Donner cut, like the tagline was, "You'll believe a man can fly." It was displayed in sort of a glorious, like the things that they were able to do with color and music. I mean, it was a very important movie for its time, and it still holds up, I would argue. Superman is an important character in American culture and world culture in general. And so when we get nitpicky, or if anybody gets nitpicky about these trailers, and as we discuss, it's because it's important. That's why we care. You were going to say something, Jason?
Well, I was going to say, to go back to your point about Superman's import to not just the United States, but the world. Yeah, things like manga, it may not have taken directly from the Superman story or whatever, but without the success of comic books, you wouldn't have had an industry where you could even draw these comic books. And so when you look at around the world after the success of the Superman movies, that inspired other places to make superhero movies. The Guardians came out of Russia. There's one from, I believe it's Finland. I forget what the name of it is, but it had there were two of them it was a superhero kind of anti-hero thing that came out of Finland. But it, like you said, it's a way to tell a story, and yes, it involves artwork, but because of the success of comics, we have so many other things because of that we wouldn't have had if Superman hadn't actually taken the imagination of the world and just run with it.
Well, in many ways, it steals from other things. Superman is in part like a Moses allegory.
Yeah.
Stranded on Earth. He also plays kind of a Jesus role, this sort of savior of the earth in his own way, but he's not from here. The idea that a man can fly, it's like, it seems absurd because we have superhero stuff and manga stuff, but it's like, no one's ever done the guy just puts his arms out and he takes off. And early Superman couldn't fly. Funny enough, he just jumped really high.
He just jumped.
The character evolved. So if we seem passionate, or if we seem to care a little bit too much about what happens to these characters, or the trailer in general, it's because it's important. Star Wars, the reason why people get passionate and angry about what's happening with Star Wars is because Star Wars is important to the culture. It's important to how we saw ourselves as young men, our relationships with our fathers, the idea that you need to do good and believe in other people, that they can turn around. Like, there's a lot of essential human story elements that reflect on us and ingrain in our psyches as we grow up and live to be, adults.
Not only that, it gave us heroes to strive to be like.
Yeah, they're meant to be examples. And the comic book code existed for a long time for the simple purpose of, they felt that it's like superheroes have got to conduct themselves like this and this and this, because they took seriously that it was influencing young minds. Yeah. And they're meant to be good in their own way. Regardless, we do have a new trailer to come out. Now, I would like to go through some of the scenes one at a time, but before we get to that, general thoughts, and I'm actually going to start a little bit backwards here. Ross says that he has a hot take.
I don't know if it's a hot take, but it might be surprising because, again, if anyone watches this podcast for very long, they know I am the superhero hater. I didn't really read comics growing up. I grew out in the middle of nowhere. There was nowhere to buy them. And on top of that, while there's certain superheroes I like, Batman, Spider-Man, and the X-Men are pretty much it. That's what I remember growing up, because they had shows when I was growing up.
Yeah.
I didn't like Superman. In fact, Superman to me was the epitome of everything I didn't like as a kid about superheroes, because there's no danger for him.
Sure.
And yeah, they try and manufacture it or whatever. But to me, I was just like, bah. I liked Batman because he's a real guy. the X-Men are people with mutations. Like I like that better. It's a little more grounded, I guess. However, that being said, despite the fact it's James Gunn's Superman James Gunn,
What I heard Nerdrotic do the, not to derail it, but I heard Nerdrotic do the joke of like it's Superman featuring James Gunn.
seriously, they're really
Superman's
like pushing
James.
that, and it's which ties into another trailer we're going to watch. But I liked this trailer.
Okay.
And it actually made me interested to see the movie and maybe even excited. It's not perfect, but it's a trailer, and there's certain things that kind of make me go, we'll see how that is in context of the film. But I'm excited to see this here film from this trailer.
Nice. Silver, what do you think?
That trailer was great.
You like it?
Definitely loved it so much.
So, did you not see the trailer? Is this what you're telling me?
No, I did see the trailer. I'm genuinely like, my gosh, I'm not gonna like this, am I?
First of all, Silver, you've perpetually been cursed with the young person disease, where everything is slightly sarcastic and attitudey, and I'm sick of it. You need to get your act together, young lady. I didn't know if you were giving me sass because you never even watched it. Do you even like it? Like, what are you talking about?
No, I did watch. I watched both trailers.
Okay.
Homework. I did it.
Uh-huh.
I just couldn't help the whole time. The entire trailer thinking are they like calling Superman an illegal alien? What's
Oh no! See, this is important. Silver needs to assert herself and her opinions on her own. And the problem with having Ross go first is now she feels like she needs to give it praise. If you didn't like the trailer, be a human, be an individual, and tell me you didn't like the trailer. Or something nuanced like I like some things and I don't like some things. Verbalize your feelings.
No, I didn't like the trailer. There, I did not like the trailer.
Okay, why did you not like it?
I don't know. The character, based off the trailer, did not feel like Superman to me.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know, that weird interview thing he did with Lois that they kind of started at the beginning. I feel like Superman, I don't know the context behind that interview. It was kind of weird. But I feel like he definitely wouldn't be like, oh, but I'm trying to do this. I feel like he'd be much more level-headed and calmly talking about it.
I 100%
Did
agree with
not
you.
feel like Superman.
I 100% agree with
Like,
you.
what's going on?
How does it feel to
Yeah.
assert your own opinion, Silver?
I don't like it.
You better.
We'll go into more details, but yeah, you had issues with it. Now,
Yeah.
bring that up as we talk about it further. Jason, what is your thoughts?
My thought is that the trailer. I'm with Ross on this. The trailer did make it look like this was going to be a good movie. So, and maybe this is the cynic in me talking, but I feel kind of that it's an ad, it's a commercial, and it did its job.
It sold the product.
It sold the product, yeah. Whether or not I do also agree with Silver on that interview thing. It felt wrong. And having crypto in the movie also feels wrong. And so them showcasing crypto so much in the trailer was like, why do I care about Superman's dog? Where did Superman's dog even come from? Why are we bringing up Superman's dog here?
Yeah.
But beyond that, the visuals looked good. The trailer did, in my mind, create that cohesive kind of story so that it's kind of sucking you into what they're trying to do with the movie. So I liked the trailer. The bits of it I didn't. I have problems with bits of the trailer, but all in all, I think they did a good job with the trailer. It looks nice. This is the first time I've actually thought about actually seeing this movie.
Most people seem to have quite a positive response to the trailer, and it seems to be reflected in general sentiment. I didn't. I had problems with it. There were elements I liked kind of visually and stuff, but I would agree with Silver. It didn't feel like Superman. Now, does the trailer reflect the final product? Not necessarily. It's a persuasive. Right. It's like those examples of trailers that come out where it's like that one where they made a trailer for Titanic, but they cut it like it was a horror movie.
Oh my gosh.
So it's not necessarily the final product, but I agree with Silver. I had problems. And guess what? As I opened the view screen to look at this trailer
on view screen,
it'll probably be Jason opening it up. I assume Jason's a science officer.
Well, between the four of us, I think so. I mean, maybe the kaiju monster, but she's an ensign still. She's not done with the academy.
Ross is the Klingon.
No. Well, I mean, I guess I am kind of, but see, I'd rather be the busty psychic with the out of regs uniform. Thank you.
The psychic that tells you very obvious amounts of information.
The entity seems angry. Thank you. It already attacked us.
Shut up,
completely
woman.
Worthless.
No, you're security and guns. What? Come on.
Yeah.
Everybody else is
a warrior's drink.
Everybody else is trapped in this thing. The audience is trapped in the back of the Winnebago. Silver. I would want to give her like the crappy ensign, like steering wheel person role.
Was basically she's Wesley Crusher.
Ew! Don't. That's rude. Listen, don't be mean. All right.
Or the horror creature in the void.
Wesley Crusher. Am I going to be sad?
Yes.
Yeah.
Google.
You ready for Gene Roddenberry's self-insert and the douchiest actor to ever live? Have fun.
Ever live.
My gosh. It looks like...
That's what I mean. That's mean. If anything, you're
it's Will Wheaton.
Uh-huh.
The disappointment.
Joy.
Gosh. Look at him in that turtleneck.
So cute.
So the trailer begins with, it seems like Lois and Clark already know each other, so we're just foregoing a lot of introductory elements. I'm going to be honest, I know a lot of people hate the origin story stuff. I actually like origin story stuff.
You don't need it for Superman. Everybody knows Superman. Kansas, farm boy, big city, reporter. We know it. Get rid of it. Don't care. Waste a movie. There's too many movies that have done it, and they sucked.
Well,
that's my opinion.
The problem is, if you do the origin story right, it's a good send-off for a bunch of movies that come after that. But the problem is, they do origin story and then bad movies. Mm-hmm. And it's like the initial setup never pays off in the long term, where you can sort of reflect of like, oh, this is the farm boy sort of thing. Instead, it's just like, no, just like it was a waste of time because your movie sucked after that, Snyder.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can thank Snyder for that. Pa Kent dying in a tornado needlessly.
Yeah.
But it seems like Clark is telling Lois, hey, why didn't you interview Superman seriously and ask me questions about the events that have happened? Because a lot of people are angry with me right now. Now, I don't know what you thought about this scene, but Superman doesn't... in many ways, Superman's above a lot of things. And I'm not just saying morally. I'm saying he's so powerful that he doesn't really have to spend a lot of time justifying his actions. His actions tend to speak for themselves.
Yeah.
So if people dislike it, he just doesn't have to justify it because it's like, what are you going to do to me? People will understand. The fact that he's complaining and moaning and saying, I did the right thing. Like, why are you upset? I saved people. I stopped. Like, he wouldn't have to justify himself. Superman never has to justify himself. He doesn't care about the press or how people respond to him. And the reason why he talks to the press is because, believe it or not, in a lamest way possible, he is very honest and very open.
Yeah.
So he talks to the press because he's very open about who he is and what he's doing. Not to justify why he's trying to save lives and then get emotional and angry about it with Lois Lane. And this was my biggest issue with the trailer. This scene, because this isn't Superman. He doesn't act like this. He doesn't do these sorts of things. And it felt off. For somebody who's the most powerful person on Earth, why would he have to justify himself? He did good and let the chips fall where they may. And it's like, well, people didn't like it. It's like, what are you going to do? You can't stop Superman. He's just going to do good. Now, hopefully, another issue that potentially arises is Superman doesn't intervene in wars because that makes him taking political sides. He's meant to be an example and do good. If he intervened in wars, then now he becomes Dr. Manhattan, where he's helping America win the Vietnam War. That shouldn't be Superman's role. If he's intervening in wars, then he's now, as was reflected in The Watchmen, as is reflected in Red Son, he is in his own way a nuclear deterrent. And in Dark Knight Returns, he actually becomes a pawn of the government, where he is used to initiate things on behalf of the U.S. government. And there are serious moral issues with that. That Batman has serious moral issues with that. But this is a much later, much more aged Superman and Batman. Superman classically doesn't intervene in conflicts because that means he's picking a side. And then he might as well just be drafted into the military at that point.
Or he just becomes the world police.
That's what happens with Red Son. He becomes world police. I have serious problems. And that's sort of an interesting moral aspect to Superman. He is so powerful, as is reflected in Red Son the comic, that he can intervene in crimes everywhere. So now that you have him as a Soviet, literally, it's 1984 where he hears everything and he can intervene everywhere and no crime exists. So now you ask yourself, if Superman can do these things, why doesn't he do it? If he does everything everywhere, then people can't do things for themselves. What he's supposed to do is be an example of goodness and intervene where people need help and they can't do things for themselves on the big things and sometimes the small things. Superman's not a pawn for any military, and he doesn't have to justify his actions. He is good on its own, and people accept that as it is. This is my problem with the trailer. Now, tell me I'm exaggerating. Tell me what you thought about this scene.
It started out like the initial like back and forth they had before it got like heated or whatever. I liked. I actually think this actor plays it pretty good. But then when it got like heated and emotional, I'm with you. That's the part of this trailer I didn't like. But prior to that, like he came out very charming and like normal and like just a guy, and I liked that. But I know it's been rumored and said that this scene is one that James Gunn is very proud of, and apparently goes for 10 minutes.
Yep.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
That's a lot of, to clarify, that's a lot of screen time in a movie.
That's a lot of movie. That's 10 pages of script. So
For an action movie on a non-action scene,
yeah.
that's a long time.
The thing is, I know people are like guessing, hoping, coping. Maybe it's her media prepping him, and maybe it is. Didn't he? I mean, if he's working,
why would he have to be
the
emotional about it if she's media prepping?
Yeah, and I don't know. That part I don't like at all.
Silver was right.
See,
Hashtag Silver was right.
Yeah, hashtag once again. Kaiju Monster's right. I don't know. And it sounds like for James Gunn, he feels this makes the movie again, as is rumored. It could be the thing that breaks it, unless the mutant monkeys are real.
It's probably the theme and tone of the story, sort of his relationship with the world, and him trying to do good, and Lex Luthor trying to tell everybody that he's not doing good or whatever, and his frustration with it.
And I'll be honest, for somebody like me, who what I know of Superman is the first 70s Superman movie, and that's it. That's based, and like seeing clips of the old cartoon, like from the 30s, it's gorgeously animated. Like,
oh, that's a beautiful movie.
Oh, it's incredible. It's one of the most amazing bits of animation ever. But it would probably be fine. I'm sure anyone that knows anything more than me, which is basically zero, they'll find things they can pick apart here and there. Because the thing for me is, like, I see Superman doing heroic things and being nice and being good and not, like, dour and a shithead. And that, to me, I'm like, oh my god, finally. It's been a while. It's too bad we wasted a really good actor on crappy movies.
Depressed Superman is not Superman.
Yeah, I mean, because the reality is, I mean, I'm such a know-nothing when it comes to this particular IP. I mean, you could have Superman implode Prigozhin by running through him, and that's the reason why the Ukraine-Russian war stopped, and I wouldn't know. Yeah, okay, sure. I mean, it seems a little harsh, but whatever. Like, but he saved a kid earlier and fought a kaiju monster. Great. That's all I care about. And, I am perfectly willing to admit I know nothing. However, I think I know about as much as probably 60% of the audience that they're hoping for, at the very least. And that is Christopher Reeve's Superman.
Yeah.
So
he's kind of a happy warrior.
Yeah, like it just the tone needs to be like hopeful and heroic, and I think
which is what a lot Snyder of other things got wrong.
Yes.
Yeah. Very much so.
And I think a lot of other things can be not quite right, and people will be willing to either they won't notice or more willingly.
Yeah. I know, Silver, you referenced this scene. What were you thinking?
Yeah, it was mainly the part where he has that outburst, where he stands up, he's like, oh, I did it because of reasons. That's the main thing about the entire trailer that caught my attention. I'm just like, oh, that's not Superman. I hate this already.
I agree with you. This was a big problem. See what happens when you express your opinion? You'll find agreement. You don't have to have your opinion supplanted by Ross's giant ego.
And it is huge, and grotesque. So be careful with
that. Any more thoughts? I don't know if Jason had any more to add. That we haven't already addressed.
This to me does actually hark back to the Snyder Superman, in that it's like, okay, we have a superhero who wants to do good, who wants to do the right thing, and we're not going to let him do good. That seemed to be like the gist of this scene. It's like, why are we getting down on Superman for doing the right thing? I'm sorry. That's what Superman's for. Now, I'm I've never. I have been a Superman fan like when I was really young, because to be honest, that was we didn't have the Batman movies and stuff yet. So I watched all the Christopher Reeve Superman movies growing up and things. But eventually it came to the point where Superman as a character didn't interest me as much as the other ones, because like Ross alluded to earlier, there's not a lot of threat. You have to manufacture something like that for him. Whereas with the other superheroes,
to be
they're more
fair,
grounded and-
we went through the edginess of the 90s.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
true.
And it's like, you want cool, awesome guy, like Wolverine with his claws and stuff. And
Yeah, true.
Superman's like a time of the past.
Not necessarily. I mean, my favorite superheroes are Captain America, Spider-Man, and Batman. Wolverine is cool, don't get me wrong, but he's not one of my favorites.
Yeah, he's pretty much the coolest guy.
He's
As
cool
is
guy.
Gambit.
But the story progresses as they have this. You know, it feels like Gunn wants to justify Superman for you, and it's like I need to tell James Gunn, you don't have to justify Superman. People understand why Superman is doing the things that he's doing. I often think of how would you accurately deal with like some of the drama scenes that happened in Snyder's Cut, where remember when somebody set him up, where they blew up part of the Capitol to try and blame it on Superman, where they hit an explosive and lead and everything, and he's sitting there depressed, like, oh, they're going to blame me for this, and they demanded he come in and answer to Congress and stuff. Superman, real Superman, would have come in positively and hopefully defended himself, and hopefully would have stopped it in the comic. But if he didn't have stopped it, and everybody around him would be like, well, what are we going to do? He would have been like, it's all going to be fine. He would be the one reassuring everyone else. He wouldn't be like, oh, I'm so depressed right now, they're going to blame me for this. And it's like Gunn doesn't get that. Like you don't have to tell us. And this is one of the faults of a writer, where they feel like they have to sort of exposition their way into explaining everything, when you really just need to show Superman being who he is. If he's just a good if he comes onto the scene with a bunch of other heroes and they don't understand who this guy is, and he's just doing good and he's not threatened by anybody because he's just bigger than everybody, then by the end, when stuff happens and Superman's not fazed by it, you understand, because Superman has already been shown to be who he is by his actions. He doesn't have to have a 10-minute diatribe about he's trying to do the right thing. You don't understand. He's trying to do good. And it's like, this tells me James Gunn doesn't understand. And this is him trying to justify it to himself, who Superman is. And it's like, you don't get it because you're a weirdo.
Can I play devil's advocate?
Yes, please.
Because as somebody who didn't like this kind of hero as a kid, one of the things, and this is more as I was older, like maybe teenager, early teens, I don't know, something like that. You know, with Batman, you have this interaction between the world as it is, which includes things like bureaucracy and government, and being a vigilante hero. And sometimes it's positive, sometimes it's negative, right?
Right.
And the problem is how do you fit a literal god? I mean, because at the end of the day, he's practically a god. Like, how do you fit that in with Batman, who just, I don't know how, 300 miles away, 1,000 miles away, is like being scrutinized, and who the hell is this guy, and what gives him the right? Whereas over in Metropolis, we got this alien guy who, thank God he's good, because otherwise this would be a big problem.
You have a really good point, and that's a story you can tell around Superman.
Sure.
But Superman doesn't have to care.
Right. And so and again, devil's advocate, like, if let's say James Gunn is trying to set up James Gunn's DCEU,
Featuring
by James Gunn. Supposedly he wants to do Batman. Rumor is that the Batman is a bit of a problem for him because of that.
Yeah.
Maybe
He
he's trying to
wants
figure out a tone and a tenor where you can have not necessarily like a super dark or dour Batman, but inherently he is more so. At least the version anyone wants to see.
but
I don't think he's going to do Adam West.
He's doing Batman Brave and the Bold, so like the positive hero Batman.
Then that goes out the window.
I know.
Because that
He
was
has
always
a
my
Robin.
thing.
He has a Robin in James Gunn's Batman.
What Hollywood twink is going to be Robin?
Well, Ross, the door is open if you're excited.
Yes.
It's me, Robin.
Just we're gonna do something different with this problem. Make him incredibly homosexual. Not that hadn't been done before.
Well, what, like the SNL skit Ambiguously Gay Duo, where they're gay, but they're incredibly gay, but they just don't talk about it?
Yeah, nobody needs to know. It's not anyone else's business,
It's like, hey, Batman, can I sit on your lap on the way over? just they don't do gay stuff, but it's clearly gay.
A little gay.
But he goes on to be Superman stuff, and the world turns against him, and they're throwing things at his head. And apparently the U.S. government has issues with him not asking permission, and it making it out like he is a foreign alien entering another country without permission. I don't know who this force is the U.S. attacking civilians in this scene?
I like that we have black vehicles now. I love that they try to be like, well, ambiguous nationality, but we have access to American stuff.
Yeah. I hope they just like, oh, they're a paramilitary group or whatever. I hope it's like a Lex Luthor's private army.
Yeah, that would make more sense.
Because if it's the U.S. military, I'm going to be really bothered.
Yeah, that would be really stupid. I would hate that.
Yeah.
And so they arrest him for intervening in a war, according to the narrative we're getting out of this trailer. And heroes grab a hold of him and arrest him because he did something that they decided that he shouldn't do. Saving people and such.
How dare he? What a dork.
And then we get scenes of him being beat up. And then Lex Luthor goes to the Fortress of Solitude, and they fight Crypto the Wonder Dog, and they kill a bunch of robots. And Lex Luthor's
what I was
I'm
thinking?
going to steal stuff. What's that?
I would have loved to have seen Zack Snyder as Crypto, because it just would have been a really jacked pit bull.
Just tearing a guy's throat out or something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the good stuff. That's what I want.
And it looks like Superman goes to prison.
Apparently he's in an ISO cube from Judge Dredd. What the hell is this?
And he's trapped with what it looks like. I can't quite get the scene here. A Metamorpho who can turn his body into different materials. So you assume he's creating kryptonite to keep Superman in the cage.
Can I bring up a concern I did have? And one that I am not so much worried about, like, oh, it's going to make it terrible, but more in a way like, oh, I wonder what's going to make it terrible if it is.
Uh-huh.
How many other goddamn superheroes are going to be in this thing?
A lot.
That's... I'm going to be honest, James Gunn, that's a mistake. You should have made it and superhero, like, and Superman movie. That's one thing that I am deeply concerned about. As interested as I am to see Man be heroic, you got too many faces in there. Like it's getting muddled. That's my opinion. But
since this is supposed to be like the beginning of the James Gunn DC universe, yeah, you need to start small. You need to, but this is almost like, well, let's introduce the Justice League before we've introduced any of the main players.
And you could do kind of a narrative of Superman showing up and upsetting the balance of what it means to be a superhero, but you're muddying the waters and giving us too much going on.
I think that would be a really good second movie.
Yeah. His entrance onto the scene and establishing himself is a great first one. And then his heroes trying to figure out how to deal with the world that's changed because of the advent of Superman. So by the way, Superman grew up with his family, the Kents, in a double wide. And people were asking James Gunn, it's like, why does Superman live in a double wide? His response was, when he grew up, the farmers all lived in double wides. And I was like, okay, so instead of just, look, Superman's not meant to be just the come from humble beginnings. He comes from a traditional American country family. So, like, instead of just a farmhouse, he's like, no, they're super poor. He's a trailer park trash.
That
Once
is
again,
really dumb.
James Gunn inserting his personal experiences into the film to try and make sense of the story. Just because you don't understand what it's like to grow up in a farmhouse doesn't mean people won't understand that.
Well, the thing is that if they don't understand, that's part of what you're supposed to do in the movie, is help them understand that.
Can make them understand. Yeah.
Yeah, but everything's about James Gunn reflecting on his own personal experiences. That's why Crypto's in it, because he had a dog that had emotional problems. That's why they lived in double wide, because he saw farmers living in double wides. It's all about James Gunn and him trying to figure out the character. And then Superman will face off against the other heroes who want to stop him from doing good independently as a vigilante, as opposed to a member of government-sanctioned superhero forces, I assume.
Well,
here's Guy Gardner and his awful hair.
This is one of the things about Superman, like you mentioned earlier. If Superman becomes a government agent, then that means that the government can have Superman intervene wherever and whenever they want to. And that is a bad Superman. Superman intervenes where it is necessary for Superman to intervene, not to be a deterrent as a nuclear bomb. No, Superman is there. That doesn't fit Superman at all. It doesn't fit his goals, his personality, anything. Superman is good for the sake of being good.
I have a question.
Yep.
Is that Nathan Fillion?
Yep.
Yes.
What on God's green earth did they do to his fucking hair?
So Guy Gardner has that hair. It's really ugly looking. That being said, if you were going to do a Green Lantern, everybody's been begging for Nathan Fillion to be Hal Jordan, because he always seemed like he should, it's a perfect fit. Instead, they gave him the douchey Guy Gardner Green Lantern.
Not only that, but Nathan Fillion has actually done the voice work for Green Lantern, Hal Jordan Green Lantern. He was the voice actor for it in several DC movies.
But we do get inspirational quotes from Pa Kent, which, let's be honest, Pa Kent should be the moral heart of any Superman sort of story. He sort of sets up Superman's moral underpinnings and helps
Uncle Ben.
So as a father figure should, it's the Uncle Ben, like his dad Jor-El also plays that role along with Pa Kent.
Mm-mm.
They guide and direct him into being a good person that he's supposed to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
So does this? It seems like Ross has said in the affirmative, but does does this trailer change things for you? Does it change things for the future of Superman?
I it's so early to tell. Like, we don't really have any context for a lot of stuff. So, like, I'm not gonna like black pill. I am the fact that the very fact that it's at least like Superman trying to be heroic is nice and something we haven't had in a while.
I liked him fighting robots and giant monsters, which is what Superman should be doing.
Yep, and frankly, that's all this movie should have goddamn been. But whatever.
Yep.
We'll see. The thing is, to me, this feels like James Gunn is juggling a lot of things at once, and if they all land correctly, it could be set up pretty well. I don't know if he's gonna do. That's a lot of stuff. Like, where it's like, yeah, I mean, I could see that working, but it's like, man, this is just one movie. Are you sure you want to do that? Like, just over and over again. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
I don't know. Here's a weird question for you, unrelated, but we were talking about the Green Lantern earlier, and I have a question for everybody,
Sure.
especially you comic people.
Uh-huh.
So when I was a teenager, I remember the animated show for Green Lantern was when I think his name's it's the Black Green Lantern. Is it John?
John Stewart.
Yeah, he was voiced by Phil Lamar. That's what I remember because I was like, oh my god, it's Vamp.
John Stewart's great. He's a lot more serious than a Hal Jordan.
Yeah, and I'm just
He
surprised
takes
that
his job seriously.
throughout all of this, the era of the Black Panther and the terrible Black Panther movie,
Or even just weird race swapping.
yeah, like
why they're not doing John Stewart instead of Guy
what the
Gardner.
hell happened there? Like, why not? Like,
I think people would be excited for a John Stewart as opposed to Guy Gardner.
I could see where people may not like, because I remember my brother's ex-wife. She loved Green Lantern, and she was so excited for the movie to come out, 14 years ago? And then it ended up being a big Ryan Reynolds piece of shit.
Yeah.
And I just remember looking at her, and mostly because I knew it would bother her, because she's of a certain political persuasion. And I'd be like, well, mine Green Lantern is black, so I think this is wrong to have this white man on the screen. Because I grew up with Jon Stewart, damn it. Voiced by the excellent Phil Lamar. So
Jon Stewart's
I'm just
great Green
surprised.
Lantern.
Yeah, I liked him a lot.
The only way I could explain this is honestly Guy Gardner's kind of a douche in the comics. And if you're going to set up this scenario where Superman is fighting sort of the established heroes fighting on behalf of the state, and he's going to be contending with a Green Lantern, you want to keep Jon Stewart in the background and not damage him and have him punch Guy Gardner.
Yeah.
That's true. Guy Gardner is kind of a punching bag for the.
That way, if we
for the
get a
heroes
Green
sometimes.
Lantern, we still have the chance to get Jon Stewart as a good example of a good Green Lantern. That might be a good justification as to why Guy Gardner's here, but it seems like a waste of Nathan Fillion.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But, Anyway, final thoughts really quickly. We got another trailer to go through. Anything we haven't added?
Say this is the first, like I said, this is the first time it's actually made me interested in seeing the movie. But it's interest. It's not, oh, dang, I got to go pre-order my tickets right now. It's like, I still think it's going to fall on its face. I just don't have a lot of confidence with what I see in the trailer. They're kind of tarring Superman with a certain brush, and the introduction of crypto and a whole bunch of other things that.
I think the costumes look kind of silly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not the best.
No. Yeah.
But like I said, this is the first time I've actually had any interest at all. When it was first announced, I was like, no, count me out. This
it's basically gone from 0 to like 3. In
I mean, you don't
interest.
have to mitigate your interest because I've had serious issues
No,
with it. You guys
I'm-
were very positive on it coming into this, and most of the internet is very positive on the trailer.
I'm like I said, to me, it's an ad, and it's supposed to make the movie look interesting, and I think it succeeds in that. But going into it, I had zero desire to see this, and now my interest in seeing it has risen from not at all to 3.
All right. Silver, what do you think? Any final thoughts, really quickly? What do you think? What do you think about how the story is going? Him being captured.
With so much going on, especially with showing like, oh, here's like a ton of other superheroes, here's some army stuff, and Lex Luthor standing in the corner. I have no idea what's going on.
That's fair. All right.
Just like there's way too much. You're presenting all this stuff, but not going into showing really besides that interview scene.
That was
like,
the
what
complaint to.
characters are about.
Well, that was a complaint to Spider-Man 3. There was too much going on. A more focused story is better.
Yeah.
A lot of times they have that complaint when they introduce too much into a movie, as opposed to that's something you could do in the comics is to have a lot of characters and things, but you just really can't do that for the movie. It's too distracting.
Anyway, sorry, Silver. Did you have something else?
No, that was all.
All right. But, yeah. Everybody's talking about this trailer, so we need to sit down and have a chat about it. We'll see how things go. Movie isn't always... You know what? I would love nothing more than to have a really good Superman movie. And you know what? We've been missing really good Superman movies.
Yeah.
We didn't get it with Snyder. I desperately want a great Superman movie, and I want to go to the movies and see a really good I'm not here to root for this, despite the negative feedback that we often shove out of this podcast. I'm not here to see bad movies. I want the movies to be good. I really want good Star Wars. They ain't giving it to me, and I really want a good Superman. We'll see. We'll see. I have misgivings more than most. That being said, everybody's favorite character, Ironheart.
Yay!
Silver, what do you think of the trailer?
Oh, hate it even more than Superman.
Why? What do you mean?
Ugh. Every single sentence is talking about, oh, you're so intelligent. Oh, you're so amazing. Every single sentence.
You know, people are insecure about a character's chances if they constantly have to reassure you about how good they are and awesome they are. Like, what was the one word they kept using? You're so iconic. You're so iconic.
Yeah, genius.
You're so smart.
Genius.
If you have to reassure us, she isn't. Like, at no point are you watching the original character that this character is basically copying with Iron Man, and people have to sit there and constantly just... It's almost like the slave whispering into the conquering general's ear as they march into their triumph. You're so good. You're so cool.
You're so good.
You're so cool.
Yeah, it's the opposite of that.
Didn't they have? Isn't that what the jester was supposed to do? Only he was supposed to ridicule the king, so the king didn't get too full of himself.
Well, the king and the court.
So basically,
frequently got
at
it.
this point they're missing the point of what the jester is supposed to do, and
You know what?
They basically turned him into a hype man.
You want to know something funny though? One of the literal first people killed after the Soviet Revolution in Russia were the comedians.
Oh,
Because apparently they decided that they couldn't have people making
Making fun.
light of the glorious revolution. More thoughts, Silver? Just besides it's bad.
Ugh. I don't know. I feel like they didn't provide any context of what is this going to be about. Like, who the heck is the villain in this?
That's a good
Did
question.
they even
the
mention
man.
that?
Good question. I think it's the one dude with the hood.
You mean the Hood, the actual character? The Hood?
I think that's
The
that's who it's supposed to be. Yes.
But by the way, in the comics, he's
Also-
white.
we can't have that.
How come?
What?
Is-
They can totally have that. White people can be bad guys now. They just can't be superheroes anymore.
But Jason, the Hood, get it? The Hood is trying to bring this girl down. Do you get it though?
They should have made him a rapper.
Yeah, that's
Do you
he probably
get it?
is.
Do you get it though?
yeah.
Ross,
It's-
tell us about this trailer.
Well, while we're talking about the Hood, did you recognize him? Who was playing him?
No.
Do you remember the
No.
film Twisters?
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you remember the morally ambiguous Hispanic, possibly boyfriend, who went to work for a private company that was buying up all of people's property after it was destroyed?
Yes.
It's that guy,
Oh.
Anthony Ramos. I'm so sad he's in this, but whatever. Oh my God, Sacha Baron Cohen's in this. What's going on? Why is there good people in this fucking show?
They think he's supposed to be Mephisto.
Oh,
Yeah.
And it's like, why is a low-level tech hero fighting essentially Satan? To give you an idea,
Well-
Mephisto is so powerful, he gives all of the most powerful heroes a run for their money. That's how powerful Mephisto is.
But do they have black girl magic? Didn't think so.
That's true. They don't.
Yep.
A hard counter to Satan is black girl magic, apparently.
This is smart girl, black girl magic.
In
So, yeah, I mean, it starts
rock,
out
paper,
in-
scissors of life. Black girl magic.
It's the universal rock paper scissors. There are certain truths in the universe.
Satan, black girl magic beats Satan. Satan beats
Every
everyone
time.
else.
So yeah, I mean, our intrepid hero. I guess we don't know yet, but this girl gets on an elevator, and oh no, the voice is talking to her, and there's gas or smoke, and rather than engage in the thing this guy has set up, this challenge, she just almost
Muscles.
electrocutes herself getting out of it.
She muscles the door open. I like how he's like, "You're the smartest person ever. Let's see."
Right.
And then
It-
she just cranks the door open.
And you know what's so annoying about that? They could have had, look, you want to have stupid Marvel humor? That's fine. Then have this guy give her shit. Be like, yeah, I can definitely tell you went to MIT. Like, put me in, coach. I'm ready to write for you anytime. I know I'm the wrong color and sex, but you know what? I can lie on the paperwork and you can still get that sweet, sweet DEI money.
You know, that's a funny spin you're thinking of there. I was just thinking, if you want to, instead of tell everybody in your own insecure way how smart she is, just show us how clever she is. Have her figure something out or do something clever. That's not just her fiddling with wires and the audience doesn't understand that she's just smart. Have her do something that we understand in our own way, like what she's trying to do, or instead of doing it in a funny, like, oh, MIT person, or allowing her to show her intelligence, they don't do either, and she hulks her way out of the elevator.
Can I elevator pitch you guys my idea that I just had sitting here?
Oh, yeah.
Here's my fun idea
Oh.
for this show, for this character. Bearing in mind, I didn't read the goddamn comics. Apparently nobody did. It had like 12 issues.
And it was
Um,
canceled, yes.
And has been
Did really
canceled
poorly.
for a long time.
Yeah.
So have this character, this Riri Williams, if you will, and have her, like, she is genuinely very smart and all this stuff, but you know what she has? She has a problem with patience. She has a problem with knuckling down and doing the thing that she needs to do.
You can't give her flaws. What are you talking about?
Well, I know, but hear me out.
Okay.
She can still get things done that she needs to get done, but it's doing like this. Like, I'm just going to do it. But then there's
Yeah,
there's
that would actually
consequences.
make a better story.
And you know what she has to learn? She has to learn I need to learn to have patience with myself, with the world around me, so I can use my big brain that I've been blessed with from Wakanda or whatever
You know that's,
to do the thing I need to do.
that's really interesting because that gives her some sort of like character growth that she can come to at the end of the show and fully realize herself as a hero, as opposed to you're so awesome, girl. You're so cool. You're so smart. Like that character growth is actually really interesting, Roz. You could give her that growth of like, see, because you could write this scenario where she fails and he wakes her up passed out in the elevator.
Yeah.
That would
Where
be
he's
interesting.
like, you're supposed to be smart. And she has to learn to overcome her character flaws.
Yeah, I mean, or even just have it be sloppy. Like, just like, yeah, I mean, you got out, you've thrown out your shoulder, and you slightly... Good job.
But
I'm
have
glad
her
you know how to tear apart an elevator.
have her fail a lot, because that could give you a reason as to why, since Wakanda Forever, we haven't heard from her. Is it's like she has all of this potential, but there's a flaw keeping her back. That she's impatient, she can't deal with things. Wow, we've just written a better movie.
Hey, Disney, sweetie,
Done it.
call me. Iger, baby, I'm ready. Anytime you want to call, DM this channel. It'll get to me. We can chat.
But we know she can't have flaws. We know that she's
Don't make her
amazing and
interesting.
glorious and beautiful and just awesome and so smart, so amazing. It's funny in the contrast of the Superman trailer, where he is an iconic character and you see it dripping from everything. You know how you tell people someone's really iconic by just saying they're so iconic. As opposed to just showing you how iconic, because that tells me if you're truly iconic, you have to say it all the time, constant.
Always. Yes. That's the only way people will know.
I need to point out something with this scene, though. That
Oh,
made me
yes.
laugh so hard. So we see her trying to break out of this elevator, and we see her first bite into a live wire, and then lift the elevator door above her head, and even though she weighs like 120 pounds or something, and then hear, "Wow, you're so intelligent."
Like,
Like, yeah,
Right?
you are.
like it's
Bite
and it's
that
almost
live
like a
wire.
joke.
What do you think of Jason?
I'm thinking this to me is very much like the Superman ad. It showcased probably the best parts of the movie, and did well with a lot of the visuals. Unlike the Superman movie, or unlike the Superman trailer, this did not change my opinion one bit. I still think this is going to crash and burn, and it still looks like a pile of garbage. This one is very much instead of showing us how iconic Superman is and showing us what the story is, this one is tell, reinforce. They can't go.
She's like
one
an
scene.
insecure white woman that constantly needs to feel better about herself. You're a queen.
We can't go one scene without hearing somebody call her a genius or
Yep.
iconic.
That tells me she isn't.
Yeah. It's so bad.
It's really bad. Like, this is bad writing. And you notice how they advertised someone who me and Ross really liked, Ryan Coogler, being the executive producer. But remember, he's not directing or writing, he's executive producer. because me and Ross had a lot of really good things to say about Sinners. Look
Yep.
forward to that review sometime when Silver gets off her butt and actually gives us a thumbnail.
Kaiju monster.
We can do it now. Don't worry.
Hey, I have a question for you, Rhett.
Uh-huh.
I mean, they were always going to make sure his name was prominent in some of the advertising because, Black Panther made money.
Yeah.
Do
Loads
you
of
think
money.
do you think they really wanted to make sure his name was because of Sinners being this powerhouse in the box office right now?
That might be, but
Probably.
I would have expected it to be like from the director of Black Panther and Sinners, but instead they just said Black Panther.
That's true. Although Disney is funny about not recognizing anything that isn't in their realm.
Movies don't exist outside of our sphere.
We are the only entertainment company.
So
there
the
was
trailer.
one other thing.
What's that?
There was one other thing that also occurred to me while I was watching this. Usually they called her a genius right after they showed her doing something stupid.
Oh,
But she was so smart.
Yeah, it's like the one dude who was the dean on Community. He was like, "You think you're the only genius to go to MIT or wherever it is?" And he said that like right after she blew up a lab or something. It's like, I'm pretty sure geniuses don't blow up their own labs
well,
usually.
so Ross, to give you some clarification as to the actual origin story of this character in the comics.
Okay.
The teacher basically she's in school and the teacher tells her you can do anything you want to, and she's like, well, is there anything smarter than me? They're like, well, no, you can do anything you want to. And they're like, well, what can I do? And they're like, well, you're not going to be as smart as Tony Stark. So she goes, well, that means I'm going to be better than him. And that's what her motivation was, to build her own Iron Man suit.
God.
Which sounds more like the origin of a villain than a
Yes,
hero.
very much so. Oh, the
Yeah,
other
well-
thing is that in the comics, she didn't build her own Iron Man suit. She took Tony Stark's suit and
She
converted
stole it and changed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
They had to. Okay, I'm not going to say what I was going to say, but that's hilarious and tone deaf entirely societally. But whatever.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say the tone, even like the tone of the tone of this trailer and like perhaps of the show. I mean, who knows? I guess. But it almost seems like a villain origin story. Like, yeah, people aren't giving you your credit, and you need to show them. You need to put like, and it's like
You need to
I mean,
force them to see how awesome you are.
and you know what? They should do that. Make her the villain. That'd be awesome. That'd be the most interesting thing the MCU's done in like what, 5 years?
Yeah.
Screw
Because-
it, do it. Make her
well,
evil.
Did anyone get the impression from the trailer that basically they go around stealing stuff because it's okay? Because
I
they're
was
stealing tech and then they're
Yeah.
throwing money in the air and they're letting it rain. And I got the impression she
yeah.
gets with the group where they're stealing stuff because they deserve it because they're amazing.
Because we was students and shit.
Literally, they give the line of "you need to be undeniable," like anyone's denying her.
Yeah, well, oh my god. Like, it's just so, it's like every hilarious, like, bad advertising from the last 10, 15 years directed towards young women and young women that are not white, like, just rolled into one trailer. Like, you need to be, you're going to be iconic. You are. Oh, look. Anyway. Like, you need to be iconic and undeniable and this and that. Go Queen. Like, it's like a Beyonce.
The
Like, it's so
constant
weird.
ego uplifting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, this, like, okay, I guess we're in a Beyonce music video. Like, it's so weird. I don't
Well,
get it.
it feels like a bunch of black ladies trying to reassure a girl after she breaks up with somebody. It's like, you don't need him. You're a queen. You're better than him. You're a queen. You're iconic. You're going to go out there. You're going to make a metal suit, and you're going to be a villain. No, you're actually a hero. You're iconic. You're undeniable.
So weird.
Do you find yourself relating to the constant need of reassurance, Silver?
Of course. Oh wait, you hate sarcasm? No.
Oh, well, I hate sarcasm when your tone is perpetually sarcastic. I can't understand. Maybe it's because I'm not iconic like you. You're so brave. You're so smart.
No. Get iconic, nerd.
Yes, queen. Uh-huh. I'm a great black woman, by the way.
Yeah, that's another thing I want to point out. I get Disney's all about DEI stuff, whatnot.
Mhm.
But isn't it a little odd that this show about young black woman, the only music is... they do this a lot.
It's hip hop.
We're not going to talk about that. It's
It's like if we had an Hispanic character, it'd be like, no, 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 no.
Yeah, exactly.
Comes in with the
Just a
sombrero.
choreography.
Every time he
Yeah,
enters the
why?
frame, there's a musical sting of guitars and like the little finger clackers, you know.
Oh yeah, the Castellas.
Yes.
Castanets,
Yeah.
I mean.
Her
Yep.
Asian friend enters the scene. Na, 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 na.
Bong.
Bong. Because that's how you
Yeah.
deal. It's like, it's okay if she doesn't have like hard American black ethnic music. It's like every black character. And that was part of my issue with sort of like the stuff that they did with like Sinners. It's like all of a sudden there's in the trailer, there's very like black guy rap hip hop going on. It's like, it's a period piece. What are you doing?
Yeah.
I mean, but they did this with Black Panther, as if no one would know that they're really a black person. They need to reassure
That's
you.
to know.
Na, 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 na.
Bong.
That's
Yeah,
a good
just every
point,
time
Silver.
they show up, just gong.
A big contrast to, and I'm not even saying that Superman's perfect trailer, but a contrast between characters. We already know Superman, you don't have to tell us.
Yeah.
Even though James Gunn seems to lack that capacity. They're really trying to sell us on this character constantly all of the time, which tells me she isn't iconic. She isn't great.
No.
Because you constantly have to tell me that. Yeah, it's a terrible trailer. It's a steaming pile of horseshit. Any final thoughts on the trailer really quick?
I think that when the movie comes out, we're going to find that
It's
the
a
best
TV
bits of
series.
The movie we're in, oh, right, that's right.
What
This-
Disney Plus, but yes.
Yeah, this has been completed for like 3 years.
They announced it in December of 2020, and it has been worked on for 3.5 years.
Yeah. That just right there does not say to me that this is going to be any good. That because it's like we shot it all and it's ready to go, and then they're like, no, we have to rework it.
It's been
Well,
done
that's
for a
fine.
while.
But if you have to rework it and it takes you 3.5 years, that's
Yep.
crazy. That's so bad.
Yep.
Yeah, I have no confidence in this at all.
Behind the scenes, the rumor was that they knew it was going to be bad and they desperately kept trying to cancel it. And they couldn't, so they're just going to have to push it out the door.
That's what I've heard as well.
I was gonna say they were hoping, praying for that Zaslav loophole to just tax write off this thing.
Yeah, apparently they couldn't, but they wanted to.
How embarrassing.
Anything we haven't covered really quick? Final thoughts before we move on with this disaster of a flight through space? No, we're good.
No.
We did it,
Gucci.
everybody.
We're good. Run away.
Hey, guess what?
The Distracted Gamer Podcast. Big pile of news dump.
That's right. There's lots of news and the toilet's backed up. We're in the back of the ship where we apparently talk about the news on the toilets. That's right. It's the news dump. We've got a lot to talk about. A lot of news. As I delay to slowly bring up Ross's story.
So we all know Bungie, and some of us used to love them.
Yeah, I think all of us used to love them.
And they have been obviously more recently known for Destiny, and now they're using an old IP, Marathon, to stick their toes into the extraction. Well, unfortunately, it's been noticed that they may have lifted some art from somebody else, and unfortunately, this is not the first time they've done this with Destiny stuff, but it was noticed that visual musical artist Anti-Real, that this artwork is incredibly similar. In fact, they've even of using her artwork without credit in the alpha build. I'll just quote her tweet real quick. Bungie is, of course, not obligated to making a game that was overwhelmingly decade, but clearly my work was good enough to pillage for ideas and plaster all or attribution. So, again, as I mentioned earlier, this is not the first time. In fact, back during the Destiny era, in fact, in 2021, for Witch Queen expansion, it was noticed that some fan art was essentially absolutely just like lifted and used. Excuse me. And then in the Lightfall expansion, happened again for like I think a cutscene. And then actually Hasbro, Bungie last year to make a Nerf replica of the Ace of Spades pistol, and they just lifted the entire design from a guy Tofu, and aside from a recolor. But so I mean, they've just been like the last 4 years have just been time like almost every year. Oh, hey, look, stealing someone's art again.
Well,
oh, how the mighty have fun.
If it's funny, we've seen this happen with other studios. Like Ubisoft had this problem where they were lifting art from other places.
Yep.
In particular, in their deep historical research for the game Assassin's Creed Shadows, they basically stole a bunch of reenactors' flags for their art book, as well as other, which tells me, I don't know if this is a newer generation of art people who are just cutting corners and saving themselves time or what, but the attitude seems to be, well, I could just find it online and just use that or whatever.
You know, there is possibly a conversation to have. The reality is, though, is I'm too stupid to know about a lot of the nitty gritty of it, but there has been a conversation that's been being had on the internet for a while now, whether you're the CGI of films or the coding and networking of video games now. It almost seems like there's been a brain drain in the industry.
Yeah.
Like things aren't as well made as they used to be, and you know, people try and like cope by saying like, well, you know, the companies are just like pushing them hard, and like I'm not saying that feature creep and a lack of focus on scope isn't a problem within the industry, because it super is, but frankly has been forever. At you know, depending on the project, I wonder if there's genuinely like been an issue either where how people are learning this, like at the school level, or what. I don't know, but like there could maybe be an argument to be had about that. Again, the problem is I'm neither artist nor programmer man, so I mean I can't really delve into detail on that.
This
but it makes you wonder.
Not isolated sort of thing.
No. Mm-mm.
I think a lot of this comes down to
not understanding how copyright works and just the general feeling that if I found it on the internet, it's free game.
Well, and there is a question
I don't want to buy the ignorance argument. I don't buy it.
Yeah, I mean, and it makes you wonder who's overseeing. Like when this.
I have something to add to that. Here's a funny thing. So the excuse I was hearing from Bungie is that it was an accident and they're sorry and they're going to work with them and blah, blah, blah. You know why I don't buy the accident? Not just because it's stupid. Of course, it's not an accident. You directly stole it. But the game's art director follows the artist on Twitter.
Yeah. Oh, you know what else I've heard too? They hired like a kind of like an ad company. Like their whole thing is to like give them like advertising, like imagery and like fonts and stuff like that. Kind of like an art direction company, and makes one wonder if they're legally going to, despite the fact it might be their fault. You know what I mean? Again, this is all speculation. I am accusing no one of nothing. Or of anything, I should say.
No, make definitive statements and make yourself legally liable.
I will not be doing that. Instead, I am saying it makes one wonder. And that is all. Can I, while we're on the subject of Marathon, can I bring real quick?
Yeah.
So, the extraction shooter genre is relative, certainly to the wider audience. It's not been a big thing until the last few. The two big games are Escape from Tarkov, the biggest. It's the biggest one. And then you have Hunt Showdown. And with Bungie sort of dipping their toes into this, and I think perhaps they're thinking of trend chasing, the issue is that it looks like nobody wants to play this, because there's another game coming out soon, which is an extraction game, called Arc Raiders. Now, they both had Marathon and Arc Raiders, both had like closed beta sessions recently, in the last month or so. Does anyone want to take a guess to the difference in player count between the two?
I'm going to say Arc Raiders was much, much, much higher.
Well, peak count, and again, we're basing this off the Steam charts. That's probably not the most accurate thing, but it gives us a baseline, right?
Right.
The peak for a Marathon was 6,919. Now again, closed beta, it's not going to be huge numbers.
Right.
Sure.
That's I would say for a closed beta that seems reasonable.
Well, you would think that until you get to Arc Raiders, who peaked at 21,515.
Was that a closed beta?
It was.
That's almost 4 times higher.
Yeah.
Well, usually when they do closed betas, they're a server test to see if the game can handle sort of what it can handle when it comes to a bunch of new players and bug encounters and that sort of thing. I would have assumed more players than 6.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like a couple billion people on the planet. I would have assumed in the tens at least.
And I'm sure, like, when you add in the consoles, it gets more to that. But, again, we only have Steam charts to work with. And to be fair, a lot of people play Destiny on PC, not just console. So
Right.
I think it's a fair enough thing. But that is, and I also heard that Marathon lost players throughout. Like, they couldn't keep players going, like, throughout the whole
For the
thing.
beta?
Yeah, whereas Arc, people were begging them to keep it open.
Oh.
And so times aren't looking good for old Bungie, my sweet old friend. But I just wanted to bring that up because I thought that was very interesting.
That is
Two
interesting.
similarly genred games had betas right around the same time with very different reactions.
By the way, I thought Destiny sucked, just so you know.
Yeah, you are a noted Destiny hater. Podcast.
1 and 2.
I'm a noted Destiny not give a crapper.
So Gears of War movie now has a director. This is a
Really?
Netflix video game
Oh.
adaptation. And the
Oh, dear.
director is David Leitch, who directed Deadpool 2.
Oh, the one everyone forgets about.
Yeah.
Oh, but he also directed Bullet Train, I guess. Is that correct?
I like Bullet Train.
Oh, I love Bullet Train. Okay, you know what? I'm back on board.
Bullet Train's fun.
We're gonna have Bullet Train, but you're fighting General Rom and avoiding the dark monsters that eat you alive.
Well, I just like that assassin lady that's dying of poison, and he's like, "Can I get you some water?" Holds your hand.
Movie rocked.
Daredevil Born Again did so poorly it didn't even chart on the Nielsen ratings.
Oof.
Yeah. Oof.
Did you watch it, Rhett?
All of it, yeah.
Yeah. I'm assuming you don't recommend.
What was your takeaway?
As a lover of the character, which I had an absurd speech for like 45 minutes on the podcast once telling you how much I love Daredevil.
I remember.
And I love season 1, 2, and 3, even though there are issues with season 3. I am, by and large, the person that would walk through glass to try and make sure that this thing works. It has episodes that are sometimes mediocre to bad, to some episodes that are mediocre that have really good moments. And then at the end, it's kind of dumb.
Oh. That's you know what the problem with that is?
What?
It's neither so bad that you can talk about how shit it is and scream it from the rooftops, and it's definitely not good enough to recommend.
Well, if you recall, as the episodes were coming out, I was giving you a little synopsis of, I kind of like this episode sort of thing.
Right.
You see,
Yeah,
notice
yeah.
how I stopped that.
Yes, I did.
Because I could not muster the energy to really get. It's like, Daredevil. And I was on it every week. We were on top of the episodes, keeping up with them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's sad.
Ubisoft stock has dropped. It says 20% here. It was like more like 18%. Now, there's some speculation. People have been giving different reasons for why it has dropped. So one, they had some press releases. I want to say they had an investor meeting, but I didn't listen to it, so I don't know for sure. They were asked specifically multiple times what the numbers were for Assassin's Creed Shadows, and they said they said no.
Oh,
So the idea people have is, maybe Assassin's Creed Shadows did poorly. That's what the drop is. The other speculation, according to this article, is they did announce that because of the delay with Assassin's Creed Shadows, that they're going to spend more time on quality, and that they're pushing back all the release dates of all of their announced games.
oh my God.
Wow.
That's right. Everything is being pushed back, and their excuse is, we're going to focus on quality and get everything more time to cook, so to speak.
Ooh, I have a question.
Yeah.
Hasn't Ubisoft just been embarrassed by a former employee recently as well?
I haven't heard this.
Expedition 33, a game that everyone that's played it absolutely loves and has been
Oh, that's
talk of
right.
the town. Former Ubisoft employee.
Oh,
Let's
so to give you an idea, so we don't have any concrete numbers necessarily. We do have the Steam numbers, and it's like 372,000.
Wow.
And people have been gleaming, trying to add up what they think the actual numbers of Assassin's Creed is. So the best educated estimate that the internet has, which I think the way they've argued it seems fairly accurate, we're probably looking, despite the claims of like millions of players, we're probably looking at about 2.4.
Wow.
Which In the first day or two, Ghost of Tsushima did 3.
Wow.
That's pretty
Expedition
great.
33 is blowing Assassin's Creed Shadows out of the water, if those numbers would be believed.
That's wow. And
Yes.
I'm sure because that would be considered a double A, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think Expedition 33 in the first week or so did like a 7.
Damn.
Yeah. So, yeah, everybody out there saying, actually, it's really good and it's doing really well, and none of you know what you're talking about, and it's really successful. It's really successful, everybody. Yeah, and then the stock dropped because actually it's not doing well, and the communists are buying the company and the rights to their big games.
Yeah.
You
Hey,
just got dunked on by a former employee.
we kept telling you it doesn't look good and it's probably not going to do well. We kept reporting on how much of a dumpster fire this game was. A game that should have been a slam dunk. From
Oh,
the
yeah, this
very
one-
beginning, Assassin's Creed, people wanted a game set in Japan. 'Cause Assassin, 'cause Ninja. This should have
Yep.
been an easy win. Do you know what doesn't get people really angry? When you don't dishonor someone's history and you don't shove in characters that shouldn't be there. No one gets angry when you just do it accurate. No one gets angry about that. It's like when they race
Well-
swap. Do you know what no one gets angry about? When you keep the characters the races they're supposed to be. No one gets upset about that.
Well, now there's the people who do get upset about that. You know, Sweet Baby Inc. and people like that.
I don't think that we actually have evidence in this news that I don't think that is a teller, because there's been mass destruction because of association with I have numbers for you.
No, I get that. What I'm saying is that with the current climate, there are companies like Sweet Baby Inc. that do get upset when you don't do the
And
race
bully
swapping.
you. Yeah.
Yes, but they suck, and you shouldn't listen to them anyway.
Well, I'm going to push that to the front. In an entertaining article, apparently WB Games revenue has plummeted 48% in the first quarter.
Oh.
And a lot of it is attached to the fallout from the Sweet Baby Inc. fiasco.
Yes.
Let's remind you, the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which was an extremely expensive dumpster fire.
Shockingly expensive. Jesus.
Yep.
Let's see, Unknown 9 Awakening, remember that?
No,
Sweet Baby Inc.
Nope.
game.
I don't.
Black Lady with powers. I know.
I mean,
Which-
yes, I
the one from the
I
south?
remember hearing about it.
No,
but
that's
about
the
it.
other.
Oh.
That's the other Sweet Baby Inc. game, South of Midnight, with the Black Lady with powers.
Dustborn?
Dustborn? Yeah, the Wonder Woman game ain't gonna happen.
Oh, the one people would have liked 7 years ago.
Are you excited with Sweet Baby Inc.'s involvement in the what was it, the Wolverine game?
No,
No.
my God.
Not at all.
Yeah,
Oh.
WB is shaking itself apart, and it is a dumpster fire over in WB/HBO, which makes it even weirder and funnier. I mean, there have been a lot of like, what on earth is happening behind the scenes? Something is going on as I delay to find the news article.
I hope
We're
they didn't
doing
change
it.
the name.
Oh,
of
we found it. Hey everybody. HBO Max is going Max is going back to HBO Max.
Oh, thank God.
The name change is
wait.
going back to what it was.
How many name changes does that make now?
I don't know. Because the reason why HBO works is because it's home box office. It tells you you're getting movies at home. It's like a big movie experience. and then they shortened it to Max, and now they're changing it back to HBO Max.
Are you ready for the AI overview answer?
Oh, do it.
5 times.
Oh my lord.
HBO Go 2010, HBO Now 2015, HBO
remember
Max
Go.
2020, then just Max 2023, and now they're back to HBO Max.
Exciting. Hey Ross, James Gunn has responded to all of the hullabaloo because people actually like the Batman, and it's one of the few DC products to do really well. And James Gunn has responded that the Batman 2 is still happening, and Matt Reeves is still directing, despite the fact
this
he
says
doesn't
he's
want
not.
this movie to exist.
Huh.
He says it's moving forward. Shrug.
Well, I mean, look, and again, noted superhero hater.
Uh-huh.
What? Because they were like, oh, it's going to be a clean break. We're start. Well, except for Peacemaker.
Uh-huh.
Well, except we're going to keep this aspect. Well, oh god, the Batman did really well. Oh no, the Penguin did amazingly well.
It is really good. The Penguin is really good.
And so now we're just like they are just completely hosed. This clean break wasn't clean at all. And now they're in one foot in one grave and another foot in another. What? They're roller skating to hell.
Apparently the review bombing is so bad for the Last of Us show that the review bombing has now surpassed the game's review bombing.
Oh my lord.
I think
What?
it's because general audiences have now had access to the show.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because
And maybe it's not review bombing and it's actually a complete piece of shit.
Yeah, maybe now people have just turned on it. I'm not surprised because you know what? People really liked this show,
And
like the
they're
first
angry.
season.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I would hear my upstairs neighbors. I mean, I would hear that stupid guitar playing, and I knew they were watching that show. And I was like, "Oh, you're gonna really hate this season.
Silver
It's
watched
gonna
it.
suck."
Did, regretfully.
Yeah,
She forced you while you were rubbing your lymph nodes.
yeah, the lymph nodes.
I sure
So
hope she doesn't listen to this podcast.
She's gonna.
we're selling you out. So apparently Disney is magically changing its tune, and they're putting more patriotic stuff on their sites, and they're rolling back some DEI stuff. Also, in a shocking turn of events, they're allowing Newsmax on Hulu.
Oh,
Yes, and to clarify who Newsmax is, where Fox News is a cheer on of, let's say, the right wing MAGA stuff, Newsmax is the true believer. So, much to everybody's shock and surprise, Hulu is getting Newsmax.
good lord! Probably because it gets better reviewings than the other ones.
Well, and Disney is like, maybe alienating half of the country isn't working out anymore. So now they're making weird decisions like embracing MAGA news.
Interesting.
Yes, because they're also changing classic songs and scrubbing gendered language from the Paint the Night Parade.
Oh,
Because I think Disney realizes things ain't going so well.
good god!
Huh.
Well,
They
also
are-
they do have their deal with the United Arab Emirates.
Yeah, I was gonna say then they are desperate, aren't they?
Apparently, most of the park is going to be inside because of the heat.
I was gonna wonder about that.
Yeah, I saw an article
my
the other
God.
day that apparently that is going on. So apparently
What
an
a waste of
insider close to Rebel Moon and Zack Snyder says that it would be an act of God for us to get a Rebel Moon 3.
Start praying.
The show did so poorly, it would be an act of God that we finally got Rebel Moon 3.
I mean, this can't be surprising to anyone, can it?
No.
What are you talking about? This is a total surprise. It caught me totally off guard.
Oh, yes, I'm sure.
My favorite creator, Neil Druckmann, apparently put the main actress in Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet through a online boot camp to deal with the online hate. She's going through a boot camp in order to handle internet hatred of the game that he's inevitably going to, that he's
Neil?
making and is going to suck.
Hey, Neil, sweetie, could you just make a good game?
Yeah.
Is that a thing you could do?
Do you know what people don't get angry at? Good games. You know what everybody liked? The Last of Us Part 1. Oh, guess what? You were not the biggest impetus of that game, and someone else wrote it.
Well, it turns out you fired the woman. You replaced the woman who wrote all these games that Naughty Dog
Yes.
that people really loved.
You know, the Uncharted's.
The Uncharted's of the worlds, the first Last of Us.
Yeah, so she's going through training to handle the internet hatred that will inevitably go her way because your game sucks.
Hey, you know what? However big our reach is, tiny. Don't do that, guys. Everybody of the internet, don't do that. Leave her alone. She's just getting a paycheck, baby.
100%.
Direct your hate to one Neil Druckmann.
Better yet,
Who deserves it?
don't buy the game.
Yeah, and if you really want to stick it to him, don't even say anything, and don't buy the goddamn game. And if it's PlayStation, Game Pass, don't download it and play it either.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Just don't even engage. Let it go. And that would, because can you imagine if Buzz, like no buzz, positive or negative, had no interaction with anybody, and then didn't sell anything? Like, that would be the most hilarious reaction.
That'd be so funny.
Like, just do that.
To quote from Neil Druckmann, I joke about with this team, we made a game, The Last of Us 2. We made certain creative decisions that got us a lot of hate. A lot of people loved it. Less than you think. But a lot of people hated that game. And then he goes, who gives a shit? And it's like, well, your investors.
Yeah.
People who wanted a good game.
And people who loved the first one and hated the second one because you ruined something they liked.
Yep.
And then his response was, the joke is like, you know what? Let's do something that people won't care as much about. Let's make a game about faith and religion.
Yeah, that'll go over well.
The Heretic Prophet takes place in an alternate historical timeline and features a pretty prominent religion, too, which has changed and bastardized and evolved over the years.
Great.
So I know you consider yourself an artist and you have interesting things to do and say and whatnot. That's fine, right? The problem is you have to make money. And making decisions like this will result in the Chinese buying your company.
Yeah, well, and you know what? Like, this is something, well, I'll get to that in a sec, but like, this would be one thing if we were hot on the press of Last of Us 1, and, like, Naughty Dog was still riding a high, like, hey, let's try something different. But you're not. You are running off of the fumes of the last dog shit game you made, which was Last of Us 2, as I
Well, the
recall.
hype from the show.
Well, and then but now that's going away too because of the shitty story you made for the second game.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
like, what? Hey, you know what you should do? Just do a nice, slow, underhand, easy pitch in for something people like. Just a thought. And then once you're riding that high, try something different people may not like. Because,
So- How much do you want to believe from this comment from the actress? I got a lot of love, but there was a lot of hate over me being a woman of color, me having my head shaved, all these things that I didn't even actually initially see. But I'm out of the social media zeitgeist for that reason. But once I did, Neil was like, ignore it. No matter what, me and you, we're going to make something beautiful. We're going to make something that we're proud of. And we're going to lose a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
At least Assassin's Creed had a name, a brand, and a franchise. You've got nothing. You've got nothing. No one
Well, they have
trusts
the-
your company anymore.
They have the good name of Neil Druckmann. Oh, wait.
That's like
Well,
Bungie
they've
coming
got
out
the
and
name,
going.
I guess.
That's like Bungie coming out and going, we've got a brand new game, get hyped for it. And I was like, no one trusts you anymore. All of your games have sucked.
Yeah. Well, and you know what's funny is, like, people were talking about with Bungie, like why aren't they making something people want? Like, why aren't they catering in Destiny? And it's like, I don't necessarily agree with that. Like, you can, as a company, try something new. But the problem is that Bungie has been pissing off their audience for the, 4 or 5 years with Destiny. So it's like, even the Destiny audience doesn't like it. And like, same thing with Naughty Dog. They pissed all over their fan base for Last of Us, and they haven't fed the other fan bases. They, Uncharted and all that. So it's like, what are you running on? I mean, you're running on fumes, and the fumes you had were the show that now people don't like either.
And
So, I mean, this is just so stupid.
your decision is to poke the bear
Yeah, that'll
and
go
make
well.
something deliberately controversial. Like that's a brave decision from an artist, not from someone who's running a multi-million-dollar company who's supposed to make money. I mean, it's one thing to do like a controversial painting, but it's another thing to do a controversial painting that you have to sell. Otherwise, loads of people will lose their jobs and the company might go out of business.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. And it's not just you have to feed. Like, there's other people at the company that have these jobs that I'm sure they'd like to keep. So, like, what an arrogant dickhead. I mean,
Neil
honestly.
Druckmann's such a piece of shit.
I'm sorry for everyone that works at Naughty Dog. Ride the wave and canned, or until you see the ship sink. Just be prepared. Squirrel away money.
Steal computers on your way out.
I mean, honestly, like steal the weird swag that they've kept from all the various games, and you can sell
Just-
it on eBay before they lock up the building.
Just release day, people are pulling wires out of the walls as they leave.
Hey, you know what? Do it. Like, god damn.
Copper can get you a lot of money.
Cat 6 cables worth something.
As it'll be like the Suicide Squad game where everybody's sitting there like, no, it'll do good, as like the building's burning down around you.
God damn.
In a fun story that I'm sure Ross will love, apparently Nintendo of America is going to brick your console if you mod your console in any way or install any unauthorized games. Will brick your console.
Nintendo, you had the console industry by the balls. All right,
Yeah, you did.
you had them. You were the guy keeping that spirit of console gaming alive. And now with this, I mean, and I think, I'll be honest, I think people have been overblowing the this whole announcement and like details of Switch 2. In my opinion, I think people have been blowing that way out of the water. This this is horseshit and like complete bullshit, and it completely flies in the face, along with their weird video game cart that's not a video game cart, but you have to have to download. Like, that is also horseshit. But those two things alone, like, completely throw away the spirit of why you should have physical media, have a console. Like, you know, I mean, you're just pushing people back over PC again.
You know, one thing I realized why I'm so disheartened by current console generations, why I always keep every console I have. Believe it or not, I've got most consoles. And when I say most, I'm like most consoles. I don't have some Ataris. I don't have a PC Engine. But, like, it's like I've got all the Nintendo stuff. I don't have a GameCube. I had one. Long story. But so I'm setting stuff up at the new location. I'm plugging everything in. I'm setting up all the consoles and everything. And I'm like, oh, well, I've got everything in. I'm going to set up the space, because when you play VR2 for the PlayStation, you can map the space around you. So internally in the game, it knows your limits. And there's a lot of room in that game because it's in a rumpus room. And there's a lot of space for me to wander around as I'm killing zombies or whatever. And I was like, oh, it'll be fun. I'll map the space and maybe get a feel like what it would be like in a bigger area killing zombies. Click on the game to open it. Cannot confirm license because I'm not online.
Oh my god.
Literally cannot play the game because I don't have the internet.
God.
I hate the new generation of stuff.
You know what is so funny, Rhett? I've been like thinking about this for the last few weeks, for the last month and a half or so.
Yeah.
I think I might be slowly, not entirely, because I've got a lot of old stuff I need to play still, and like a lot of stuff on that I need to play that I own digitally or whatever, on Xbox. But like this, like gaming is getting so obnoxious, especially that it's like, you know, I think I'm gonna just start getting back into guns again, like, or so, because like at least when I buy the gun, I fucking own. Like, everything's right here in my hand. I don't have a connection to the fucking internet to do anything I want to do. Like, it's so frustrating. Like, I don't have to have a subscription. Like,
the gun industry just hasn't figured that part out yet.
Oh, and they've been wanting to. I mean, the whole that, but they want to have biogun guns.
I do like the fact that the gun industry seems to be, at least for now, seems to be pretty pro. Hey, you want to mod your gun? Go for it.
Yeah. Now there are some issues to some degree. Like, if you do certain things, that lose warranty.
Speaking.
But whatever. Like, you know, that's usually the warranty's never very good anyway. But yeah, it's just like, really? Because you know what? Hey, Rhett, I remember back in the original Xbox days playing Halo 2.
Yep.
And guys had modded console. And that when you joined their custom matches, suddenly you had all their mods. Yeah. And so you'd be playing, and now the pistol shoots the Wraith cannon shot. And you have like moon physics and all this kind of stuff. Now, granted, you try and go on to like matched game, like ranked games, or even just the regular matchmaking unranked, you're getting banned. But at least they didn't brick your goddamn console. I mean, what the God, it's so gross.
Japan doesn't like it.
No.
Oh, it's been a special time. Once again, Silver's back quietly, not talking.
Yes.
This is why she's here. She holds a space.
I'm just the diversity hire. At least
You're not
We're getting that
supposed to say
sweet
that out
money.
loud.
God.
I mean,
The problem is you're just a woman. We need more color.
Nah.
I don't speak unless spoken to.
Here's the shoe polish.
That's right. This is misogyny, like, fandom here.
Meant to be seen,
Okay.
not heard.
Not heard. We speculated as to what would happen if you dropped out as opposed to entered. If we did a reverse of you backing back into the ocean.
Yeah.
Leaving.
I proposed it was just me pushing your head under the water,
No.
Oh.
No.
bullying you. Something, fight now. I do good intros. I'm proud of myself.
I enjoy it thoroughly.
They're beautiful.
Thank you. I need reassurance that I'm smart and brave and iconic.
You're so iconic.
Thank you.
I got you.
I know. Now that everything's dead, Jason, you're in charge now.
Sorry about that. I was looking at the
eBay. Oh.
ChatGPT.
This is why I have to be the captain.
We
I'm the
have
captain now.
Hannibal, who is riding a war elephant, and he just drank 5 energy drinks, and he is facing off against Homer Simpson, who is armed with a flamethrower and relies on sonar to see. According to
This is so
ChatGPT,
stupid. keep going.
according to ChatGPT, we have Hannibal, who is an adrenaline-fueled tactical genius, enhanced stamina and aggression from energy drinks, a literal war elephant, which is a tank with tusks. His cons are possibly jittery or over-caffeinated. Decision-making could suffer. War elephants, while intimidating, can panic with fire or loud noises. Homer Simpson, he has a flamethrower that neutralizes close combat threats and scares elephants. His sonar vision enhanced detection even through smoke and darkness. Cartoon physics, Homer can survive stuff that would obliterate real people. Cons, he's still Homer, likely to trip over his own feet or burn himself accidentally. Low tactical awareness and easily distracted by donuts. If Homer manages to activate his flamethrower before Hannibal gets too close, the elephant might get spooked, giving Homer a huge edge. But if Hannibal can close the gap quickly, especially with that energy drink-induced rage, he could trample Homer before he figures out how to use his gear. According to ChatGPT, it says the edge goes to Homer because cartoon logic trumps historical realism.
ChatGPT could suck my balls.
Also, flamethrower plus sonar is a wild combo.
No, so here's look. No, here's the no. Look, Hannibal.
Brett's not having it.
Well, so Ross, how much do you know about sonar?
I mean, you ping and then things come back to you and you echolocate through that, yes?
Okay. Were you aware that sonar is actually an extremely strong pulse that they put out into the ocean? And that it's
Oh, yeah,
strong enough
active
that
sonar could kill
animals-
you.
That it could actually kill a human in the water?
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's moved from I just have a flamethrower to he puts out like heavy sound pulses that could blow your brain up.
And those elephant ears are catching all of it.
Yeah. Well, and that's a stupid thing because it's like he's supposed to have one benefit and one weakness. I don't think energy drinks are a negative. It's like it might make him really jittery, but it's like for the short term he's fighting, that's a bonus, not a negative.
Well, it'd be one thing if he was like Sniper Man,
Sure.
because then he'd be like all wobbly.
That's
So
true.
Homer
I mean, he
tries
is relying on
to
the elephant.
to tell where the elephant is, sends off a massive sound pulse that kills the elephant. Game over.
I mean, I don't know about that because bats use sonar to see, in effect, and they don't generate a massive ping.
Right.
that
So
would
so now
deafen and kill other animals.
so now what is the source of this sonar? Is
You have
is
powerful
it
ocean sonar.
submarine strength sonar? Is it bat strength sonar?
Maybe he just makes dolphin noises with his mouth, but his hearing
Maybe.
allows him to be sonar. Hmm?
This does the dolphin chirp. That's it.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm just going to vote for Hannibal. Screw Homer. I don't want to see him return.
Okay.
But Marge, I want to kill Hannibal with my flamethrower.
I love it. So we've got one vote for Hannibal. What about Ross?
I just purely for the voice, I'm going for Homer. But Marge, I'm being
Okay.
radicalized online.
Is this going to be another Robin Williams situation?
Oh, that's right.
Ross, shut your dirty mouth.
Yes.
Okay, we've got one for the Hannibal, one for Homer Simpson. What about you, Silver?
I'm going to quit this game.
Just because you brought up Robin Williams' voice, I gotta go Homer.
So
Yes.
here's one thing you guys don't realize. If I just don't open Fight Night, it doesn't happen.
Comments revolt. We have no comments.
The
I
revolt of
gotta
the upper
say,
class.
I'd rather see Hannibal win this than Homer.
Well, there, we're
Come
at
on,
an impasse.
But Jason, I have a flamethrower.
I'm thinking that Hannibal charges, digs his spurs into the elephant, and the elephant just tramples Homer flat.
No, he ignites that flamethrower, and the elephant's like, "Oh gosh," and books it the other way.
Well, here you go. He gives the 5 energy drinks to the elephant instead of himself. Really jacks him
Oh,
up.
I didn't consider that.
Oh, I like that.
That Homer, that elephant is afraid of no fire.
Here,
Nothing.
here you go, Dumbo.
Especially if
Have
it's
some
a
energy
monster. He's just going to go punch the wall because mom wouldn't let him play Xbox.
It's true. We haven't thought if the energy drinks are Red Bull, and if Red Bull gives you wings, that is freaking Dumbo.
Then we got a flying elephant.
Yes. Yes.
Someone's been indoctrinated by advertising.
I have seen footage of the Flugtag. I think it works perfectly.
Do we have anybody that wants to change their opinion?
I hate Ross.
Well, that's a separate opinion, Red, and hurtful.
Well, he didn't clarify what opinion about what. I felt
the
it was my
opinion about
opportunity
who
to
would
share
win in this fight.
opinions.
But Red,
I'm gonna stab you.
Oh no.
in Minecraft. Yeah, I'll change my vote. I can still do the
Okay.
voice without Homer winning.
Oh,
Aha! Joke's on you.
Aha!
great, he's
All right,
dead.
Hannibal moves on.
Watch you
Yep,
st-
Hannibal.
So next week we're gonna get the Grim Reaper. Is it gonna be the Grim Reaper with Homer's voice now?
But Marge,
Probably.
Hannibal killed me. I got trampled by an elephant.
No.
No.
Gross.
But Marge, our show's been terrible for 20 years.
I'll mute you. Oh, Ross lost connection. Oh no.
Oh no.
Yes, let it flow through you.
Oh, thank goodness I'm here. Me.
I am nothing but hate. I can't flow through me. I am the source.
Just suddenly next week we're both gone. Is like, we regret to inform you that Ross and Silver have died.
Well, it's just me and Jason, and I'm turning to Jason going, "You're on thin ice, mister.
Yeah.
Listen here, young man.
This is the Rhett show, dang it."
Yes, we have died of murder, and it's just you two now. Good luck.
Still getting your thumbnails, though. You gotta do that from the grave.
Gosh dang it. The work never stops, does it?
Never
rest
stop.
for the wicked.
The thumbnail like mines are eternal.
Get down in the thumbnail salt mines.
Literally every
There's
week.
work to be done.
Every week, just whether she's got finals or not, she's got to shove that thumbnail out the door.
Yeah.
Vacation, finals, doesn't matter. I could be dead in the hospital and I'd still get you
Listen,
the thumbnail.
at your open casket funeral, I better see some thumbnails ready to go. All right.
Oh yeah, it's just all the pictures like around my casket is just like potential thumbnails you could use.
We're gonna marionette her.
Weekend at Bernie's.
Okay, you gotta beat out the rigor mortis first. But yeah, that could
I'm
work.
really into punching.
I'm Wilford Brimley.
Diabetes.
Everybody, this is Wilford Brimley. I got diabetes and I like to punch my wife.
Lord.
If you,
Newsflash, Wilford Brimley does not like to punch his wife. He's a very kind man. Don't sue us.
He's a very kind LDS
Nothing
man who
does.
enjoys gambling.
Oh,
did you
gosh.
know that you could cure diabetes if you punch your wife? I'm Wilford
The
Brimley.
big disclaimer goes across the top of the screen, like, punching your wife does not cure diabetes. Please don't sue us.
I got rid of my
Please, God, don't sue
diabetes
us.
by punching my wife. You gotta punch your wife. My name's Wilford Brimley. I got diabetes.
I'm Wilford Brimley.
Punch your wife.
But no.
It's my famous character from Late Night Gaming that I've introduced to Silver, Wilford Brimley, who cures his diabetes through punching his wife.
So good. You're
Which is
crying playing Return to Moria doing that.
Yes, which is very different from the Rhett likes to get a android wife so that he can abuse her.
That's right, Android wife too. Also
well,
scandalous.
domestic.
Won't
Well,
go further into that.
scandalous is too scandalous to talk about on this podcast.
Yeah,
Until we get big enough that we're immune to controversy.
All you hear is the name Scandalous, and you're like, my gosh, what is that?
You know there's something
I'll never
scandalous.
tell.
I'll never tell.
I'll never tell. Once again, another late night, just drunk on silliness.
Yep.
It's been a special podcast. It's time we run out of here. People need to sleep. Jason gets fussy. So,
Yeah, he does.
Yes, it's bedtime.
I suppose I could do something like, let's say, it doesn't matter.
If you like the show, follow Rhett, Jason, Ross, and Silver, the world's most lethally stupid internet personalities, on Twitter at DG Podcast or on Instagram at Distracted Gamers. If you liked or hated what you heard here today, you can email them at thedistractedgamers@gmail.com and share your feelings. Not that Jason would care, since he hasn't any, of course.
Oh my God, it's so juicy.